In a world racing toward automation, well, it's easy to feel like humans are just being replaced. But here's the truth. Some work can't be coded. And in this episode, in this show, we explore the power of future-proof work, the roles where AI can assist but never replace, from trades that require hands-on problem solving to soft skills like empathy, communication, and leadership. Well, these human-centered strengths are more essential than ever. So whether you're navigating a career change or you simply want to just stay relevant, this conversation with Greg and I will equip you with insight and inspiration for where your irreplaceable value shines. So stay tuned. This podcast is brought to you by DJ Works Media and HalftimeSuccess.com, offering resources and insights for those at mid-career or the halftime of life. Explore our diverse categories, including courses, coaching, health, music, software, and travel. We're here to help you make this stage of life your best ever. So get our new articles, downloads, and podcasts by signing up for weekly updates at goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Well, hello. It's great to have you here with me today, Greg.
Good to be here. Hi, everybody.
Hey. The reason for this, a little bit for this topic, number one, is because I wrote about it a bit in Power of After.
Your new book?
My new book, yes. If you don't have it yet, please. I would love you to get it. But also, we've been traveling. And so one of the things that we were talking about, you started doing all this, looking up all these jobs that would still be very relevant, even with AI. And that was pretty fun for me to see how you were doing that. Because
I used AI to look up.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And you started getting excited about it and you were going to write a little paper on it. And I thought, we need to talk about it a little bit more, go a little deeper, because I've talked about how, the trades and the soft skills and how those aren't going away. And actually, those are going to be magnified. But I'd love you to expand on some of the things that you kind of came up with and we're learning. And I think that was really interesting how you were kind of dictating that.
Well, where I was come from is a number of people I listen to in the financial world, are wringing their hands that AI is going to eliminate all these jobs and nobody's going to have anything to do. And so I was pushing back a little bit because I think while some manual labor things might be replaced by robots, and even some, menial, things like simple tax returns might be replaced by AI. The amount of service that is going to be increased is, I don't think, being explored yet. And right now, service sector makes up maybe 70%, 68% of our U.S. economy. It'll probably grow. And not only that, but it'll probably get a lot better. And I would even say not only better, meaning a little more conscientious, a little more thoughtful, a little more meaningful, but also perhaps a little more exotic. And what I mean by that is I think the AI revolution is going to make us all a lot more productive, which means that our real incomes are all going to go up, which means that we're going to be able to afford a lot different kinds of service. And a parallel to that is 30 years ago, none of us would think that we would have a powerful computer in our hands that we used to communicate around the world. It's just commonplace. And the thing that's remarkable about that is that it's economically accessible to almost everybody. Mm-hmm. And 30 years ago, even if you could propose that such a thing could exist, you would say nobody would be able to afford it. Mm-hmm. both of which are not true.
Right.
Everybody can afford it, and it's
Yes.
beyond anything we could have imagined 30 years ago. And so I think as we talk about the expanse in both the kinds of service things that are available and the quality of them,
Right.
it's probably beyond what we can imagine. And
Wow.
people are going to have plenty to do. Debbie talks about soft skills a lot.
Right.
And that is just going to be the case. People who have the ability to increase our ability to experience and probably understand and comprehend are going to be extremely valuable. And
Right.
people who just want to be mundane and mediocre are going to get left behind. But the profit motive is going to propel many people to get better at serving. And I think you probably mentioned in your intro,
Right.
Mike Rowe talking about
The trades. Yeah.
while AI may replace a lot of things, it's not going to replace the trades.
Yes.
Which robots might be able to weld things in a factory, but they can't do an on-the-job kind of thing.
Yeah.
Plumbers, electricians, they're all going to be necessary, and
Right.
not only necessary, but we are so underserved right now in terms of how many there are. Most manufacturers and large tech firms are begging for thousands of tradesmen to be created. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity. AI is only going to make information more accessible, and we're going to be able to do things a lot faster.
Yes.
Do you want me to go into why?
That's great. Well, I will in a moment. That was amazing. And I didn't mention specifically Mike Rowe in the introduction, but that's why I mentioned the trades, because he's huge on trades, and his whole podcast he features that, and he has an organization that gives scholarships for the trades. And one of the big points is that many of these trades now, they become like artisans. Like the welders, they are actual artisans. They make a lot of money. Plumbers, they're going to make more and more money. Your electricians, they're going to expand.
Masonry workers.
Yes.
Carpenters.
Yes, all of those will be making more and more valuable in the future. So, but okay, so let's expand a little bit on why. And it's so fun because you were really mulling this over as you were, sitting at the airport. We had a very long layover. I try not to have layovers, but it was very long. But it was great to hear about some of the things that you were thinking about. So I think that's important to say why, because we can just say all of this, but why is that going to be, do you think?
Well, to get the deep weeds just a little bit, our economy runs on information, and information is really the thing that drives technology. And what I mean by that is if you go back to between the time of Christ in the 1700s and the amount of new information that was processed, not much happened. They figured out how to take sand, heat it up, and make glass. Great. And it took a really long time once that invention was made for the rest of mankind to catch up with it. In England, finally, they figured out if we put candles behind glass, and we could light up the streets with them. And so a lot of whales died in that experiment. Then they figured out we could use oil and kerosene to do that. Then they figured out that we could use natural gas, and then electricity got created.
Yes.
However, with each creation, it took the world a long time for the information to go from the inventor to the rest of the world. And today, with AI, how quick information passes is unbelievable.
Yes.
Give you an idea, when I was doing taxes, we had huge stacks of tax books, and a client would come in, and I'd be mulling over his specific tax case, and then I think I read somewhere, and I'd literally go to a book, pull out the book, and it was dependent upon my memory.
Yes.
And
where it is.
And the volumes of books I had actually read in order to come up with a solution to this person's tax problem.
Right. Right.
So fortunately, I read a lot, and I had a really good memory. However, with AI, I not only have access to the books I've read, I have access to all the books that have ever been published on the subject.
Yes.
And as long as I keep narrowing the question, I can get specific information in a matter of minutes to address that person's tax issues. And I have all of the sources that address U.S. tax code that have ever been written. And AI goes through and sorts through which are most germane, sums it up for me so that I can apply it. And that makes my service, not my manual labor, my service much more effective for that person. And it happens in moments.
Yes.
And that's it's super important to get that. With AI, we all have access to unlimited amounts of information.
Yes.
Where service is going to come in is knowing what part of that information applies to this specific issue.
Right.
That's where it matters.
Yeah. What a great point. It's like you have to know enough to know where to look, first of all.
How to ask the question.
How to ask the question. What are the prompts? I've talked about this in my book as well. How to create those prompts. But it's also when I was doing graduate work, I was in the archives, and they do like a drop the needle. You had to recognize, whatever symphony this was on. And here, listen. In the library. Now we can get it anywhere, anytime, and so fast, but you have to know what to ask, what version to ask. You need to know enough to ask. And so that's the value of the service. It's like a travel, if you're going to incorporate some sort of I book a lot of travel just online, but if there's a travel professional that says, I have some contacts that I've worked with for years that you might not just readily find, or else the reviews are not always, they don't always come up first. So they'll find some of those secret little places. And that's why you see some of these, travel destinations that are, this is a hidden place of just, no one knows about. So that's the service element that will shine, that you'll end up getting known for. So not just, just doing a general.
But that's a perfect example of the elevation in service that's gonna happen.
Right.
Because, I can do a quick Google search, AI search.
Right.
And ask, what are the secret places to visit in Athens?
Yeah.
And it'll run through in a matter of 4 seconds and give me everything that's ever been written on the internet.
Yes.
Now, if somebody's book has been published and put on the internet, then it's there.
Yeah.
However, the person who's actually visited Athens, and they can do the exact same AI search and go, they forgot this.
Yes.
And at that point, they can make themselves really valuable.
It was almost like I had just booked some places. We are going to be in Portugal. So I had booked a couple nights at a couple of locations, and one was in the outskirts of Libsyn, which was in Siena, some of those areas. So I booked this one place, and there's a group of gals that I walk with. I do the hills, I say, once a week. So, we're struggling up these hills as we're walking. But they've traveled quite a bit. And when I mentioned the place that I booked that I found online, I said, this place, it just looks great. And they said, that's the place they were talking about. And I had forgotten, but they said, that's great. I'm so glad you booked that. So it gave me huge confirmation, even though there's good reviews. I just know you can see good reviews, but are they really good reviews? Some people would just, they'll just go through and give 5 stars, but what are they comparing that to? So I kind of wanted to, that personal experience, even by some friends, was very valuable. And that's what you get from a good agent or a good guide. And it's so important to have a good guide and a good service.
But your search gave you the ability to ask really good
ask the good questions
of people.
Yes. And there's so many instances where a good guide is important. Even putting out my last book, Power of After, I came across. This is my 7th book. I'm not totally new at this, but there were enough little roadblocks throughout that having the guide of a person that will help you along the way is a huge value, especially if you're really, really busy. It can be extremely frustrating. I am so persistent. I'm going to figure out the answer. That's just my personality.
Right.
And I did. But there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's too much work. To have the right guidance, to have the right service in most any area, it's like if you're trying to do, I would never try to do all of my taxes by myself. That would frustrate me. It would take me forever. But for you, you just got that. That is a service, and you'll be able to provide some of those extras to say, now, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this?
Yeah. I think to sum up what Deb was saying is that what AI is going to do for all of us is to make all of the information of the world accessible to us instantaneously.
Yes.
So unlike Edison inventing electricity, but it taking 15 years before most of the world even knew anything about it.
Yeah, right.
That's not going to be happening.
Right.
Imagine this: you've got an attorney. He's got a specialized field. He or she has read a lot, but anymore, she or he is going to have access to everything, every commentary written on that case. Summed up in really good language by AI in a matter of a minute.
Yeah.
And then they get to go through and which one of these apply. No more do they have to go on all their legal books or even on their computer and see if they can dig this up from all these different sources.
Yes.
Imagine your surgeon. Yeah. Your surgeon, instead of only having access to the other surgeon at his hospital, now will have access to all the notes from surgeons all over the world.
Yep.
Same operation, things that have gone wrong, things that have gone right, things to be careful about, things to look for.
Right.
Double check, is this really a surgery that needs to happen?
Yeah.
What will be the recovery time? All of that is accessible in a minute.
It's so great to hear you talk about that too, how fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the main thing is in any job that requires information is just going to be enhanced by AI.
Yeah.
And robotics will be able to take care of a lot of manual labor kinds of things.
Right.
Digging trenches, driving trucks, probably building the essential frames for buildings. But all of those jobs are tough jobs anyway.
Right.
And it'll lift humanity as a whole as we transition away from having to do manual to being able to work on finished work. I'll give you an idea. Let's say robots built the framing for your new house. So all the framing goes in. It takes real plumbers to plumb it. Let's say robots dug all the trenches. But plumbers put the plumbing in. Robots put the frames up. Electricians came and did the electricity. Maybe robots could throw on the roof However, imagine now with AI and the ability to look at all of the different ways you could finish the inside of your house and the beauty that finished carpenters
Yes.
are going to be able to bring to your house. Because, the beauty of a house is both the finishing work on the inside and then any kind of molding, brickwork, rock work that goes on the outside.
Yeah.
AI can give you the pictures of 14 different ways your house could look on the outside in a minute. It's like the ultimate Pinterest. All it's going to take is the right prompts and saying, here's what the rough picture of my house is going to look.
Right.
Give me, 6 different landscaping and stonework ideas that I can do to enhance it. Oh, and don't forget the lighting.
Yes.
We want lighting.
Yeah.
And all of this, because you save so much money on the framing because robots did it. Also, AI is going to help the technology. So the cutting of all that lumber is going to be done electronically.
Right.
The putting together, it's all going to be done electronically. The production cost of a house is going to come down dramatically. Oh, by the way, energy is going to be cut in half, and the transportation of all that stuff and the energy it took to build it is going to be shrunk. So you're going to have more money to spend on landscaping, lighting, stonework, and finishing work on the inside. It'll be cheaper and it'll look way better. It's an incredible, exciting future that we've got.
That's so fun because you really come from this economically as well. I mean, you've studied the numbers. What was really fun is that when Greg started getting into the AI a little bit more, I've been on Chat GPT and I was telling you all of these things. And so Greg got on Grok. Okay, so that's another, I talk about the different ones. It doesn't matter what you're on. They'll all do very similar. But you have just elevated with and found out so much that you really had an idea because you listen a lot. You study a lot with not only, you're not an economic, you've been an RIA. You've been really, all of the, series and, all of those that you've had to do in the past by running your business. So you're very, very familiar with that world and being able to see some of these trends and what's happening and rebuffing some of the things. And it'll be interesting as we come out. We are still just really in a big transition here of, this happening. And it happens fast. It's doubling, it's tripling, it's, every minute almost. It's going so fast. And it's exciting. It's not anything to be afraid of. That's one of the things I talk about, just the basics in my book, some of the basics in my book, but I do that to take away some of the fear. Because there's people that are just kind of afraid of it. It's like, oh, what's it going to do? Oh, the robots are going to take over the world. No, they're not. We're going to be able to use automation a lot more. And I talk about automation. I've used automation in my business a long time, and I put systems together. It's why I can create a lot of freedom. But the automation will get faster and more efficient. It's not going to take over everything. So the value that I can offer is that personal touch. The value I can offer as an artist is that personal touch. I have gotten rid of a lot of my music history books. I'm not working in music nearly as much, but I can find everything online now. I don't need to store, even though I love books. There's a lot of books. We have a lot of books. And love those, but there's certain things that I don't need in my personal library anymore because I can just find them online. It's a more efficient use of space and of my efforts. So, but the experience, that's what I have.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people
I was trying to imagine the new educational experience.
Right.
So imagine you're in 8th grade.
Right.
And we want to study the Constitution.
Yes.
And, what's in it and why.
Right.
Well, as a teacher, you don't need a book on the Constitution anymore. You can put together 2 prompts and ask the students, when you get home, ask your AI, this question, and if it would summarize the important points of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you eliminated books. Now you got this, every student's got the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell them, listen, before we can talk about why, you gotta memorize the what. So we're going to have a simple test on the what. I expect all of you guys to memorize the what. And you're all going to have the exact same summary.
Yes.
So memorize it. Let's get it done. If they don't get it done, they stay after school until they get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So with the what memorized, now we can focus on why did the founders find, for instance, that we needed divisions of power, between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative branches. And then you can do an AI prompt and it'll burp out why it's important. But then you have a discussion in class about why this is important.
And does it make sense?
And,
Is that, yes.
And does it make sense? So the emphasis ends up being on learning why it matters.
Yes.
As opposed to, reading facts in a book.
Right.
The enhancement in education, I think, is just going to be absolutely amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it'll shift from merely memorizing the, tables of elements.
Yes.
To getting to, let's do the experiments. And why do the experiments work?
Yeah.
So,
and the application. I think that's such a good thing because any of us, history never fascinated me because I think I had, it was just kind of boring to me growing up. But man, it is, as I've been, following, our politics and following our freedoms, everything else that we have, it has become more and more important. And I've now, and also with our travel, oh my gosh, and reading some of these historical novels, how fascinating this is to me. So now I've been discovering it all over again of the important things, the gaps that I've had. So as I fill in those gaps and I'm going, now, why did this happen then? So it's usually a result of something. And I think what happens is so important now. I think with the point you made of conversations, it's really important to have conversations and to communicate. We are on our little devices. We are on our computers. We're on everything so much. But when you start being able to free up your time for conversations and discussion, that's mind-blowing of how the learning occurs and how important that is. We've discovered that when we had shutdowns, people need each other.
Right.
And so having those conversations, taking time for that, you really learn through those conversations. So that was a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the human imagination, though, of how to apply service is just going to be unleashed once it no longer has to deal with the manual. So try to imagine this. You got a self-driving car, you pull up to your hotel. A mechanized dolly comes out, not necessarily a robot, dressed in a tux, but a mechanized dolly comes out. You put your luggage on the mechanized dolly. You tell it to go to the front desk. It takes all your luggage for you. You don't have to tip it. You tell your car to go park and it texts you what parking place it's in. When you need your car, you just text your car back and tell it to meet you at the front. You get to the front desk. There's a human there who's anticipating you coming and says, "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson," or would you rather us call you Greg and Debbie? Great to have you. What are some things you want to do over the weekend? They give you your room. The little dolly rolls to the elevator, goes up to your room. The door unlocks when it electronically knows the dolly's there. The dolly takes your luggage into your room for you. And the only thing you have to do is decide where to put it in the room. The quality of life that we are going to experience is amazing. Yeah. And we just don't have time to explore all the imaginative things that could possibly happen when manual labor is minimized, and we can focus more on the experience.
Yeah. And if you are in one of those fields that has the opportunity for experience, there's a huge opportunity, especially if you have people skills. If you don't have people skills, you need to start developing those. But most people that have gone through some years of working with colleagues and working different areas, there are areas that you can focus on or give your time to. And I talk about that too at mid-career, halftime of life, that some people, they don't want to just start another business, but they want to give themselves to a worthy organization. So even in that, there are things that can be enhanced by AI, by some of the tools that we have.
Right.
So,
yep.
Well, this has been really fun.
Good.
Did you have any other sum up? This was so fun because I was listening to you kind of dictate, some of your opinions on this.
The main thing I wanted to convince these two guys that wax eloquently on the markets and the economy. I wanted to convince them that the world we're entering into is so exciting.
Yes.
And to be, Debbie Downers on
careful
on that we're going to lose, a few trench digging jobs is just you're missing the point. Yeah. Freed up labor and freed up imagination, and the reduction in energy costs are going to make life so incredible.
Yeah,
that I can't imagine it.
Right.
But I'm trying to. Part of what I'm excited about is the more I think about it, the more excited I get about. Just simple, logistics is going to become incredible. Instead of delayed flights and huge planes where they're trying to get all of these people on it, because energy costs come down and logistics, because they're controlled by AI and working 24/7 and instantaneously redirecting traffic. We're gonna enjoy regional flights on planes probably holding 60 people instead of 200, with fuel that's probably a hybrid between jet fuel and electricity. And because they can do it so cheap, they can run with less people on the plane.
Yeah.
We may even get back to where they serve real meals and champagne on the flights.
So amazing.
And instead of, getting a layover in Dallas gets delayed for 8 hours because you're trying to get Chicago and the weather's there is horrible. They're going to be able to, get you in and out of airports way faster. You could take a regional up from Dallas to Oklahoma City, get into Columbus, and just wait for a break in the weather and shoot into Chicago.
Yeah.
Plus, you might not need to go to Chicago. Maybe you wanted to fly straight to Columbus, or maybe you wanted to fly to Indianapolis. It's just the options are going to get huge because of the opportunities that are resulting from the cost savings in production and the increase in productivity in our logistics. You thought that overnight delivery with Amazon was incredible. It's going to get better.
That's so fun because it's fun to dream on that. It's fun to think about the possibilities. And you've really thought about the possibilities financially and with the market. I mean, you really study and follow a lot of those trends. And so, we're going to see what happens. I'm excited. And hopefully this gives you, as you are listening to this and have listened mostly to Greg expounding on the financial and the possibilities there, that it's encouraged you in many ways. And hopefully you have read Power of After. If you haven't, please get it. And this is also going to be, we are kind of transitioning. This is probably the first time in one of these podcasts that I am announcing this, but it'll be the name of this show instead of Women at Halftime podcast. It's going to be the Power of After show.
Good.
And I talk about that in an upcoming podcast or an upcoming show about the reasons for doing that. But it's a very powerful principle. It's more widespread in the message. It's the same messaging, though, and the same links. All of that will all work. But very important to take away that fear of the AI. You don't have to get deep into the weeds. You just need to understand the basics of how it works and just kind of ride with it a bit. And also just to think about your future and what that holds, because with our health, some of the innovation that has been, there's lifespans are expanding. There's a whole other chapter, and it can really be your most purposeful and most fun.
Right,
as well.
right.
So,
what? I think one last thing we should probably suggest is get away from Google and just asking one question and doing a simple search, and think about AI as somebody you can have a conversation with.
Ooh.
And you start with a simple question. AI, Grok, ChatGPT. Google's even got AI on theirs. So ask them a simple question, and then ask them a follow-up question, and then just say, while we're on the topic, comma, can you tell me about, and just roll with it.
Yeah.
And you'll be shocked at how fast you can have access to so much information.
Yeah.
So anyway, get away from Google and start developing a relationship of seeking knowledge with whatever your AI companion is going to be.
And I talk about this as well. The AI tool that you use will learn what you are looking for. And it'll even ask you questions. Would you like me to expand on this? Would you like me to make a document on this? Would you like me to, it's almost like an assistant. I use it as one of my assistants right now. It's great. I do my own writing, but then I use it as an assistant for some of the,
it's for sure a researcher.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It is amazing, especially after you've done graduate work and you've done all this writing, and it's amazing. So,
I mean, I literally can imagine, I'm having trouble with my teenager. They're demonstrating, this kind of behavior, these kinds of attitudes. What are some typical ways that a healthy parent responds?
Yeah.
They'll search the globe for all the best answers, and you'll have it in 7 seconds.
That's so great. That's so great. Well, hopefully
So it's a research companion.
Yes. Hopefully this has encouraged you, to help you. And it was really fun to do this together. I really, when I asked you to do this, you were just, I'm ready to do this. I'm really excited. I think that Greg has added such value to in the financial way, at least to dream. Okay. That's, we don't know for sure. None of us know. I mean, if we could really predict the future, but it's fun to dream, and it's fun to see what some of the trends are. So make sure you're getting our newsletter. There will be an article that comes out with this as well. And I give you some extra resources always. That's part of what I do, is research and give some of those resources. goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter to make sure that you're following everything. You'll get every episode. You'll also get the future announcements for Power of After show, as well as the book. Make sure you get the book. For a short time, I have it on sale, the ebook, for very, very reasonable. So you mainly to garner some of the reviews. Reviews are very important to help others to find it. So thanks so much for joining us, and I will look forward to being with everyone next time. And Greg and I are on together once a month, so that will not change. And so it's really been fun for us to be together this time. Thank you so much for joining me. So
you're welcome.
So
bye
bye for now. Bye. Thank you for joining us. It is because of our wonderful listeners like you that we keep going strong week after week. We'd love it if you'd share and follow us to not miss a single show, and even write a review. You can also find all of our articles, products, and links at womenathalftime.com.